government assures support for digital transition. Broadcast media conference applauded. And nation kneels in prayer.
This is National EMTV News with Lorraine Gabina.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on Repentance Day. The government has expressed strong support for Papua New Guinea's transition from analog to digital television broadcasting. Minister for State Enterprises William Duma said the government is committed to removing blockages preventing the slow progression towards high-quality digital broadcasts. He was one of the official guests representing shareholders today at the opening of the 2016 Pacific Media Partnership Conference in Port Moresby.
The opening of the Pacific Media Partnership Conference was held this morning at the Stanley Hotel. Minister Duma was guest among regional experts and media practitioners who discussed global trends involving the migration to new digital technology and the role of public broadcasters in the Pacific. Analog to digital migration creates various opportunities for free-to-air television broadcasters in Papua New Guinea. The benefits include better quality and more content.
The government's actually very, very committed. We recognize the importance of this transmission from analog to digital, and the government is not interested in short-term benefits. We want to invest for the long term. So we're determined, and MTV is an example where we have authorized MTV to go down that path. And I understand negotiations are currently ongoing for an appointment of a contractor to be able to put up the structure.
MTV's Chief Executive Officer Banu Sood said the media in PNG is strong and there is a growing middle class that's hungry for information and factual news from both in-country and abroad.
In the Pacific, MTV has been the first media organization to take an integrated over-the-air approach to broadcasting and the first to deliver an integrated multi-platform delivery service.
For PNG, creating appropriate legislations, bureaucracy and standardization of technology remain challenges. But these are being ironed out by PNG's regulating body NICTA, industry players and the national government. These developments in PNG reflect part of a larger trend throughout the Pacific in analog to digital television broadcasting. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
The broadcast media conference has been applauded by participants and media stakeholders who have gathered vital information for their benefit. The conference has resulted in a region-wide recognition of Papua New Guinea and Port Moresby in particular as a hospitable and growing metropolitan that will soon rival some of the capital cities in Asia. Leanne Gerari reports.
The Asia-Pacific Media Partnership Conference, held today in Port Moresby, brought together media stakeholders from around the Pacific and Asia and ended this afternoon on a fulfilling note. Topics deliberated included capacity building for digital broadcasting, the challenges broadcasters face, and collaborating for broadcasting. The conference, which was accompanied by 2 full days of plenary sessions on Wednesday and Thursday, was led by the Asia-Pacific Broadcasting Union and hosted by the country's leading public broadcaster, MTV. The conference highlighted the positive impacts the broadcast media coupled with international events have had on the image of Papua New Guinea. MTV's Chief Executive Officer, Banu Sood, told conference participants this morning that as an innovative public broadcaster, the company still had a long way to go.
While we still have a long way to go, Papua New Guinea is proud of being an important and innovative public broadcaster in the Pacific region. Events such as the 2015 Pacific Games, the African Caribbean Pacific Leaders Summit 2016, this year's FIFA Women's World Cup, Rugby League World Cup 2017, APEC in 2018, and continued investment in the mining and non-extractive sectors are all testament to PNG's standing in the region and globally.
Secretary General for the Asia Pacific Broadcasters Union praised EMTV for creating a media dialogue through the event, stating that the conference has achieved what it set out to achieve, bringing unity through collaboration. He urged participants to return to their respective countries with the understanding of the media's role in the development of society.
And such gatherings will help us to know what others are doing in their own countries and how we can think globally and act locally, because at the end of the day, we are servicing our audience in our countries. You are servicing Papua New Guinea audience. So you have to see what is the interest of people in Papua New Guinea and how you can serve them best.
Leanne Jarari, National EMTV News.
The importance of accuracy in news reporting was emphasized again today. Minister representing the Prime Minister, Douglas Tomuriesa, told participants at the Pacific Media Partnership Conference that the way media portrays Papua New Guinea overseas is not always positive.
Standing in for the Prime Minister, the Minister for Forests, Douglas Tomuriesa, said Papua New Guinea is a country that is changing from traditional commodities to modern economy in a single generation. He said PNG's economy continues to grow and attract investments. And with a thriving media sector, Mr. Tomuriesa said responsibility and accuracy in news reporting was vital.
The way media portrays PNG overseas is not always positive, and that is fact. I also would like to say that when there is a report that is made public, and especially in the international media, it will be only proper that one should retract or reverse what they say.
He said with the increasing use of smartphones and other ICT devices, cost of data must go down.
I remember growing in this country back in the early 70s. We had no TV. All we do is, the only way I listen to radio is when my father puts on the radio at 6 o'clock, so he can save his battery and listen to the ABC News at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and 8 o'clock in the mornings before he goes to the classroom to teach. Broadcasters are moving to expand online platforms and growing the market. We see an increase in smartphone usage more than anywhere else in the world.
Minister Tomuriesa told the gathering that while many foreign media revert to old stereotypes when portraying PNG abroad, the real PNG is quite different. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
When we come back, hundreds gather at the Parliament House to celebrate the National Prayer Day. Stay with us. Welcome back. Public service providers, schools and most business houses today halted work and bowed heads together in prayer to commemorate the country's 5th National Repentance Day. As have become tradition since being gazetted in 2011, the main ceremony was held at the National Parliament grounds. Senior government officials, including the Prime Minister, highlighted importance of today and the need to have the King James Version of the Bible in Parliament.
By dawn, crowds of people milled outside the State House to celebrate the day with entertainment, speeches and later refreshment. The event started inside the State Function Room, where the Governor-General gave a keynote speech, followed with wise words from the Speaker of Parliament, Theo Zoronok, who highlighted the importance of observing today's government-sanctioned public holiday in prayer. The Speaker reminded that in a rapid, technologically evolving world, more and more people are becoming influenced into developing new ideals of atheism and other ungodly practices. This, he says, is due to lack of guidance.
Evidence is now seen in increasing evil schemes around the globe, even in our nation. Terrorism. There is increased insatiable hunger for wealth, increased discontentment, increased corruption, increased deceitful schemes, increased criminal activities, increased social issues, family breakdowns, marriage breakdowns, increased sexual immorality, occultism, witchcraft,
The members of parliament, along with diplomatic heads, then went on to view the 400-year-old King James Version Bible. The day ended with performances by Planet Shaker, a renowned gospel singing group from Australia, outside of the State House, where Prime Minister Peter O'Neill addressed the crowd in gratitude for their participation and emphasized on the importance of the day.
Where they do not want to believe, but give me no can be any person God. Give me no wrong now putting Bible inside of this house.
Vanessa Knight, National MTV News.
A two-day transport workshop that ended in Kokopo today discussed plans to improve connection links between 5 New Guinea Island provinces. The discussions were centered on improving sea, road and air routes to provide essential and reliable public services for the people. This comes at a time when the country is facing transportation issues, as some places are located in landlocked regions or can only be accessed by sea. Edwin Fidelis reports from Kokopo.
The transport workshop that ended today in Kokopo brought together policymakers from the 5 New Guinea Islands provinces. The aim of the gathering is to discuss how sea, road and air routes can connect the NGI region. The National Transport Secretary, Roy Mumu, is hoping to revisit the transport strategic plans and make sure that the various means of transportation are made accessible to those who needed it the most.
This is where we will really articulate and discuss and translate 5 of those 11 policy principles into some real programs that we can ever look at.
In 2013, the national government approved the PNG Transport Sector Policy Document, a document that outlines the strategic plans and goals of the transport sector, but it wasn't implemented fully as it should. Until recently, the Transport Department yet again has taken it as their responsibility to revisit the document and make it work.
The objective of this workshop is basically to look at what the provincial plans are in the 5 New Guinea Islands provinces, how best we can partner. We have a responsibility as the Department of Transport. Our role is policy development and some regulatory oversight on transport modal policies. That's our role. We are not an implementing agency.
While the workshop focuses on the 5 New Guinea Islands provinces, it has also taken into account the difficulties faced by other provinces in the country. The hardship faced by the people, spurred by limited transportation efficiencies in many remote parts of the country, is nothing more than impressive. And the workshop is expected to gather views to improve the national transport policies and create new plans of redeveloping transport infrastructures like roads, rural airstrips and jetties that should be built to last. Edwin Fidelis, National MTV News, Kokopo.
The Salvation Army launched its annual Red Shield appeal yesterday afternoon. This year's target is 450,000 kina, which is more than last year's. Salvation Army PNG Territorial Commander Colonel Andrew Westrup says the target has increased because the community needs are growing.
The Salvation Army Red Shield Appeal fundraiser is back this year with a bigger target. Funds will go towards the continuous work in the fields of health, education and community needs, such as disaster reliefs.
And we're so grateful to the business community who is coming out to support the Red Shield Appeal. Our target this year, 450,000 kina. Last year it was a smaller target, but we more than achieved it. So 250, and we achieved that and just a little bit more. So this year we've upped the target because the needs are growing.
The launching saw corporate companies making pledges towards the appeal, with Bank South Pacific, ANZ Bank, Steamships and ExxonMobil presenting checks. The guest speaker was Australian plastic surgeon Dr. Malcolm Lindsell, a member of the Salvation Army, known for a 60-minute documentary of aiding a man from Eastern Highlands province who needed plastic surgery.
The Salvation Army is an organisation that cares about people. It finds solutions and takes action. Sometimes those solutions require money. That's why we have a Red Shield appeal.
A golf challenge for the Red Shield Appeal will also be held in the year. To donate towards the Salvation Army's Red Shield Appeal, you can visit the Salvation Army's headquarters in Morocco or contact a Salvation Army agency who will assist. Marilyn Diaukatam, National, MTV News.
Bomb attacks in Somalia, the latest on the earthquake in Italy, and fighting ISIS in Syria. Those stories making headlines overseas when we return. Welcome back. Al-Shabaab militants attacked a beach restaurant in the capital Mogadishu yesterday, with gunmen raiding the building after setting off a car bomb, witnesses said. Sporadic shooting could be heard as night fell, but it was not clear how many casualties there might be.
Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab militants said the group was responsible for the attack. Al-Shabaab has carried out a series of deadly attacks in Somalia to try to topple the Western-backed government. In January, its militants stormed another restaurant on Lido Beach, killing 17 people. On Sunday, more than 20 people were killed when its suicide bombers detonated 2 car bombs at a local government headquarters in Somalia's semi-autonomous Puntland region. At the scene of Thursday's attack, the area near the restaurant had been sealed off by security officers, and the attackers had lobbed grenades at the officers and fired at them. Al-Shabaab was pushed out of Mogadishu by the African Union Peacekeeping Force AMISOM in 2011, but has remained a potent threat in Somalia, launching frequent attacks aimed at overthrowing the Western-backed government. Vanessa, MTV World News.
To the latest on the earthquake in Italy, residents of a nearby village say they are mourning for all the dead and there are too many. Their village was spared mass casualties, but it has been reduced to piles of rock.
The village of Sant'Angelo has been reduced to rubble. Its cobblestone streets and piazza covered in debris. When we arrived, soldiers have salvaged the church bell, but no one is here anymore. Aftershocks keep residents from returning, and most of the village's 300 residents have survived. But a mother and child were killed, crushed in their bed. It's incredibly eerie walking through the rubble of this tiny village of Sant'Angelo. I want to point this out. This bedsheet here, you can see it knotted to the top, tied together. I think residents inside may have used this to try and come down, because as you can see, the doors are they're stuck because the walls collapsed around them and there was no way for people to come out this way. So survivors may have tried to come out here, and you get a real sense of just how horrific this was by the scenes here. Whole walls sheared off, and you can see inside the kitchens and the living rooms just as they were at the moment the earthquake struck. As we walk through the rubble here, we step over doors, these twisted pipes, windows that have been sheared off. But this really shocked us. What we're standing on top of now, it's actually a car that has been crumpled by the rubble of the home that's fallen on top of it. At the village green, a tent camp is being built to house hundreds from Sant'Angelo and neighboring villages. Survivors rest in the shade, still in shock. This grandmother tells us there is no hope, too many people dead, and Amatrice doesn't exist anymore. Our Amatrice has disappeared, and there are so many dead, so many children. Now, the village of Sant'Angelo is one of the places where tent camps are based, and this tent camp can house several hundred people. Now, I actually spoke to several teenagers that were right here in this playground when the earthquake struck at 3 a.m. That was lucky because they were able to help many of the elderly residents who were trapped inside their homes, and they set up the first aid camp here. In that time, the camp has grown, and I want to show you a little bit here. Many of the people from the neighboring towns and villages are coming here now. It's lunchtime. They're getting food, water, whatever medical help they need. But also, importantly, electricity. They're able to plug their phones in to keep in touch with their families and tell them that they're safe. Here, they are safe, but stunned by the destruction and loss all around them.
Mosul, the second largest city, has been under the brutal control of ISIS for more than 2 years. Inside that city, a secret but resourceful resistance is staging a small war of their own.
Operating deep within the shadows of ISIS territory in Mosul is a network so secretive even its own members do not know each other's identities. The letter M spray-painted on Mosul's walls. M for Muqawama, the resistance. The message to ISIS, we are here, we are among you. The Mosul battalions watch for weaknesses in ISIS defenses, carrying out hit-and-run operations, or waiting for a moment to strike isolated targets, like this checkpoint on the outskirts of the city. This man, Abu Ali, is one of their liaisons.
How did the Mosul battalions even manage to initially organize themselves?
It started as two friends who trust each other, and they would arrange to target ISIS in a particular point.
The same happened elsewhere, and by the end of 2014, the Mosul battalions had formed. Their weapons are basic, what they found and hid in the city, or what they snatch from ISIS.
The roadside bombs they use, they would steal from ISIS. ISIS puts bombs in certain areas, and those who have previous military experience would go and steal those bombs and place them where they target ISIS.
They operate in 2 to 3 man cells, independent of one another. No cell knows specifically of another. No fighter knows the name of more than 2 others.
Abu Ali calls a man he says is with the battalions in Mosul.
He's speaking from an orchard just outside of the city. Talking on the phone is punishable by death.
We carry out assassination, sniper operation against senior ISIS members. We target the houses they live in.
The distorted voice in this video says they assassinated an ISIS fighter. The images then show what they say is the dead man's ID, pistol, and suicide belt. And Abu Ali says they are providing, through intermediaries, intelligence and coordinates to the coalition. Here, the aftermath of a strike they say was based on their information. And they are waiting for what they call 0 hour, distributing leaflets warning ISIS its end is coming. They are ready for the day the Iraqi army breaches the city and they rally the people to rise.
Trukai Sports is next. Stephen Curry speaks of his absence from the Rio Olympics.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. In an interview today with PNG's Commonwealth gold medalist and weightlifter Stephen Curry shared with EMTV Sports his reasons as to why he did not make it to the 2016 Rio Olympics. Stephen's coach Douglas Meyer and father Toa Curry both said Stephen was discouraged to get back into training after he won gold at the Commonwealth Games and the Pacific Games due to several unanswered reasons. But in spite of the many challenges Stephen and his family have faced through the past few years, Stephen is ready to prove the critics wrong. MTV's Godwin Eki files this report.
Wow, that was the most spectacular lift.
Winning his first gold medal at 21 years of age at the 2014 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow alongside Dika Toa in the men's 94 kilograms weight category. Speaking to MTV today, Stephen, who's now 23, said there were many reasons and challenges he was facing after the Commonwealth Games that led to his absence at the 2016 Rio Olympics.
I'm not disappointed. I pull out myself and I tell Dika, just put, whoever inside just put. So I think the weightlifting themselves, they put Moki and Telma, so which is fine. I just stood down, I didn't train too. Maybe 1 week I was having a lot of stress or something like that. So when I came back to my training, I wasn't enjoying.
Stephen's father, Toa Curry, said Stephen still has a chance of getting back into training and prepare himself for the next 2020 Olympic Games, where he can proudly represent his country and prove the critics wrong.
Papua New Guinea, the man who...
When team PNG set foot on Rio, I could see that young Steve was always sitting there, and and I was wondering as to why he was very quiet. But I could tell that he himself was hurt inside, because being patriotic, he knew that he could have been there among them, cheering them on, and them cheering us on behalf of our nation. And
despite missing out on the 2016 Olympic Games in Brazil, Stephen said winning gold is something that doesn't come easy to anyone. It takes hard work and determination, which is what he is working towards, and to be ready for the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo.
We got a lot of problems in weightlifting, so I'm just saying I didn't go because of those things, that's why. So I'm saying sorry, but the 2018 Commonwealth game, I promise I will go there. So I'm training hard and everything is going well now.
Stephen Curry is the champion of the Commonwealth at 9.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
As the months draw nearer to the PNG Games, athletes have begun their intensive training in preparation for the big games. That has been the case for twin sisters Emma and Emily Walaun, who will be representing the East New Britain women's Taekwondo team. The 17-year-old duo from Kerevat in the Gazelle district made it through the final team after defeating elderly opponents in the recent East New Britain provincial games. The two sisters were in one of their training sessions when EMTV caught up with them.
It may look like a game, but it's certainly not playtime for the twin sisters Emma and Emily Walaun. At their home in Kerevat in East New Britain province, Emma and Emily are going through an intensive training in preparation for the coming PNG Games in November. They make up part of the East New Britain women's Taekwondo team who was selected in the recent East New Britain provincial games in Rabaul.
I've been fight low 54 kg now. I've been challenging me low same 68 kg. Islamiram long plato master me, but somehow me winning them.
This body contact sport is not new to this family. Their father, Bennett Walaun, who is a veteran Taekwondo practitioner, took it a personal responsibility to mold and shape his two daughters in preparation for their big games.
We start learning to play, time to play. 9 years. Now we start learning to play martial art.
The duo showed me their medals won over the years since they began fighting at an early age at the local competitions. This is where it all began for the two sisters at their backyard at this Taekwondo academy, mentored by their father.
Me thank you Lord, Daddy Blomi, na me amaso sem sister Blomi to plan them by go Lord. This game, when first time Blomi to plan to play, hope that to play can give our best na kisim gold or silver or bronze. The East New Britain.
They are two of many children from this neighborhood who come here every afternoon to practice this Korean art of self-defense. And with only a few weeks remaining, the twin sisters are certain to dominate the medal tally when the games begin in November. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV Sports, Kokopo.
The Gerahus suburb in Port Moresby held their local community sports competition today at the Gerahus Sports Centre. Volleyball and touch rugby were played at 3 different fields, with many people taking part in the competition.
A total of 32 teams in the men's touch rugby event are taking part, with an A grade and B grade division. On the other end of the sports ground, the women's and men's volleyball competition has more than 20 teams taking part. The 2-month competition is getting closer to the finals, seeing teams go head-to-head under the scorching sun to secure a spot in the finals.
So we should hopefully end in our games by the end of this month or first week of September. So the second week we can go into our finals. So we are, I think, on our scheduled time.
People from all over the suburb have put in teams to take part in the competition.
Teams taking part are from Mautana, Rainbow, all the settlements like Keosu, Tete settlement, down to the Lenones, traditional Lenones, Siraka, and one up to stage 7 and 8, and all the way into the local villages there as Siraka and Koko, Boreho. It's all Ward 11, which is...
Member for Mosby Northeast, Michael Malabag, has joined in to help with sponsoring trophies and medals for the winners. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
True Kai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
True Kai Sports.
Welcome back. In preparation for the Under-20 Women's World Cup in November, a team from FIFA headquarters in Zurich will be in Port Moresby to run a workshop for the local organizing committee and its stakeholders. Attending the workshop will be the representatives from the 15 participating teams of the Under-20 Women's World Cup, including Team PNG.
The workshop will involve meetings with the media, team services, marketing and venue managers, including visitors to the match venues, training sites and hotels. Meeting with the media will involve discussions around how operations will work on the match days, while the meeting with the marketing team will involve speaking with potential national supporters and requirements with regard to branding and marketing. The workshop is also for the team representatives to see the facilities they will be playing in, as well as being informed of what they are to expect when they come with their teams in November. Local Organizing Committee Chief Executive Officer Seamus Martin said the workshop is a good time for the team representatives to learn about the host country. Local Organizing Committee Chief Executive Officer Seamus Martin said the workshop is a good time for the team representatives to learn about the host country. He said with less than 80 days to go, the preparation is ramping up to ensure that everything is set for the Under-20 Women's World Cup come kickoff on 13th October. The FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup will be held in Port Moresby from November 13 to December the 3rd. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
The 2016 TNT National Short Course Swimming Championships will take place on the weekend from the 30th of September to the 2nd of October at the Tarama Aquatic Centre. The event will see swimmers attend the event from Australia and around the country with 2 sessions each on Saturday and Sunday. Both Boroko and Lay swimmers are well underway with their training for the Short Course Championships. Godwin Eki reports.
Port Moresby and Lay-based swimmers are all ready to attend the TNT Short Course Swimming Championships from the 30th of September to the 2nd of October, with the event to be hosted here in Port Moresby. Overseas-based swimmers will attend the event, all taking part in their respective races. Swimmers will compete in their individual events in all 4 strokes, from freestyle to breaststroke, butterfly, backstroke and individual medley events. This event is believed to see swimmers race towards breaking their personal best times while hoping to capture PNG record in the process. In line with the event, selections for 13th FINA Short Course Swimming Championships in Canada will be made, which will give the swimmers the opportunity to make the squad from the 5th to the 11th December this year. Meanwhile, swimmers from Boroko Swimming Club are training hard for the event, while the Lay team, under the guidance of their respective coaches, are preparing to race fast over the weekend.
So we've got the TNT Short Course Nationals happening in September, the last weekend of September. In that event, it's our last qualifying event for the FINA Short Course Championships as well, so there should be some good competition happening there.
The competition will run under the FINA rules for all swimmers to showcase their talents in the pool. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
The SP PNG Hunters will have to step up this weekend if they are to be a contender in the finals. After coming off back-to-back losses away from home to the Blackhawks and Northern Pride, they now sit on 4th place on the Intrust Super Cup ladder.
Regardless of the result in Sunday's final round robin match against the Sunshine Coast Falcons, the Hunters will still remain in 4th place. Many of the Hunters missed last week's clash due to suspensions and injuries. This then forced coach Michael Marum to rush players back into the squad after injury. He then sidelined Wartovo Pora, saying he did not want to risk his players.
Wartovo, for example, it was okay to play in that game, but I just sort of add him back. Okay, also wanted to try it out try out a few of those boys that didn't play for quite a long time here. But
The Queensland Interest Super Cup Finals is a week away, and from the poor performance last weekend, Maroon said earlier this week they need to be better.
it was probably one of our worst performances for the season. Yeah, and again, it was our last away game, so we want consistent performance week in, week out. So especially when we're going into finals, finishing off fourth. Okay, every weekend must win games all throughout, and if we want to go all the way, yeah.
The Hunters remain unbeaten at the National Football Stadium this season and may end up hosting Sunshine Coast Falcons again in the finals playoffs, depending on other results this weekend. The match kicks off tomorrow at the National Football Stadium at 3 p.m. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Chukai Sports. We'll have the weather details when we come back.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, brief showers in Port Moresby and Kerema, and mostly fine in Daru, Alotau and Popondetta. In the Mombasa region, mostly fine in Lae and fine in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands, it's mostly fine in all centres. And in the Highlands region, fine in all centres.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And before we go, students of Twinkie Winkie Preschool in Port Moresby also joined the nation in commemorating Repentance Day with a simple prayer. EMTV was privileged to have witnessed this beautiful occasion. And now recapping our main stories for today. The government assures support for digital transition. Broadcast media conference applauded by participants and stakeholders. And nation kneels in prayer to mark National Prayer and Repentance Day. On behalf of the news team, I'm Lorraine Gabina. Good night.